Alright, dude. So I went ahead and looked at your file and saw what the problem was. At least I think it is. I think the major issue why your vertices were moving like that was simply because you were trying to move them around while they're on top of the mesh already, the base mesh. It's trying to go to the nearest vertex, and the problem is it's going to fight between these and all of these in the back. So shrink wrapping like this, I'm not sure how you did it because I've never actually done it this way, but I do understand the process of how you're doing it. So I'm going to show you a little different approach to it that hopefully will take care of this problem for you. Now keep in mind I'm still new at all this stuff, so and this is the first recording I've ever done for this kind of thing for anybody. So if it's sloppy, my apologies. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up this workflow just so it'll be easier to follow along. So let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and add a new reference point. How about we do this? Put this. Let's put this stuff here too. That'll make it easier. I don't need these references because I cannot access them. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and delete this plane. We're not going to use it for anything really, unfortunately. And I'm going to join these up just because it'll be easier to work. Oh, that's a problem. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate this by -90 would have been better, right? There we go. Now you got front view. Press Alt-G to center it, so it's in the center of the world view. The origin point's fine. It's on the nose, but yeah, it doesn't matter. That's preference, I guess. Okay. So we are centered out here. And I'll go ahead and start the process of how I would do this. So let's go ahead and add in a plane just like what you had. Let's rotate this by the x-axis by 90 degrees. Move it forward. Good. Scale it down. Oh, my headset just died on me. There we go. Scale it down, 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 down. That should be good. We're going to want to add I took some notes that I'll email you as well. Mirror modifier, of course. Oops. Okay. And we do not want to turn on clipping yet. So let's go ahead and make room for it first. Right there's good. Right there. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. You know what? Let's get you a little bit closer. Perfect. Okay. What's next? Reference my notes real quick. Alright, next would be snapping. So, snapping tool up here, perfect. We're going to want to go onto faces. So, face project. We want to make sure it's on the closest. Okay. Align rotation target, that's fine. We're just going to go straight to face. I think that's an old legacy thing, so that works fine. There. Okay, now we can turn on clipping for the mirror modifier, since we're going to be snapping it to this. So the closer it gets, better it'll be. Now add a subdivision to it. Fortunately, I do not have that one hotkeyed. So generate subdivision, surface. We need at least 2 for rendered in. Perfect. Once we've done that, we're going to want to make sure it's on simple. This will keep everything nice and low poly. So, and I like to have the on cage, just so I can see what I'm doing, even after edits. So, okay, now for the shrink wrap modifier. Let's go ahead and close these up. Okay, shrink wrap beyond to form, right? Yep, okay. Obviously, we want our target, which is this bad boy. Good. Offset by 0.1 just to make it easier. Alright, keep above surface. Your surface point, snap mode on surface. Oops. Above surface, there we are. Okay. Now, one problem that you can potentially come into is the nearest vertex right here. Sometimes it'll default to that. Just make sure you want nearest surface point since you're going to be going over the target itself. Okay, sugar's here. Let's go ahead and turn on cage so I can see what I'm doing. Perfect. Alright, let's see my notes. Alright. Let's go ahead and move this where we want to begin. We don't want to start there. Right there should be the easiest place to start. Perfect. Alright, now where? I usually add a color to it. You don't have to, but I do recommend it. It makes it a lot easier. Alright, back to it. So yeah, I decided it probably would be a lot easier to do it. So let's add a new material to this. I'm going to choose red, just because red's easy. Make sure it's nice and bright. Make sure it's rendered so I can see what I'm doing. So the main reason why I make it red is gray sticks out like a sore thumb. So it'll be easy to see exactly what you're doing. Alright, so now for the actual poly itself. Now, there's several ways you could do it. This is just my way. You know, take it with a grain of salt if you would. But what I like to do is I will select the edge mode, or the edge loops, instead of the individual vertexes. Vertexes you'll get a lot more precise, but precision comes from after you've retropolyed this whole thing. That's when you can, you know, take it, adjust, and make it any type of angle that you want. Right now, we just need to actually draw the form. So what I would do is take the edge loops, you know, select the one that you want, right there, Control and right click, yeah, right click, yep, that's fine, that's fine. We can join that, take the edge loop, right click, that's fine. There we go. Now, since I'm on the mirror modifier, because remember we still have that in place, instead of joining them together, what we're going to do is we're going to grab it and we're going to link them together. As long as your clipping is on, it will merge. I like to keep the merge really low, you know, the default 0.001, so that way I don't accidentally merge things, but you can always, you know, undo. But with that, it's only 2 little boxes. Makes it a lot easier in animation. Same thing here. G, merge, and yeah, now you have a very low poly, you know, beginnings for the muzzle. Now for the other sections, I'd like to do the neck, the eyes, and the mouth areas first. But to do that, select a face, duplicate it, put it to wherever you're going to begin your work, edit it to the size that you want, of course. Take your vertexes. Let's go ahead and, whoops. Let's go ahead and shrink these a little bit. Good. And I don't know exactly how you're going to do the eyes for when you do it, but you probably already got the idea of what I'm doing here. Go back to your edge loop and control click. Oops. Back here. Click, 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 and so forth. Let's go ahead and join that. And there you got your loop. Alright, let's go ahead and join this real quick. I was being kind of slow, so of course we're going to select our vertexes and fill them in, and there you go. Same thing for the above head. Take your face, duplicate it. Well, this one's pretty cool. I like this. How this came out. Control click, click. And there you go. Who's a good little fox guy? Get that shape going. Oh, doesn't like that. So we'll have to round that out later. That's fine. Take our vertexes. Grab it. Join them together. Perfect. Oh, I should probably take that in. Yeah, there we go. And there you go, the center. Now the cool thing about doing it this way is, now that they're joined in, they won't break apart. So because of that, it keeps it nice and low. And now I have a reference point, and I just start filling it all in. As it gets filled in, once it's completely done, the whole model, that's when you'd go in and start actually adjusting, the shapes and everything. But the cool thing about that is it's still going to retain the low poly count. So basically what I'm saying is be rough first with it, make it nice and sloppy. Don't even worry about that. And then refine it afterwards. You could add in, loop cuts if you need to further refine it. I wouldn't recommend it because honestly it's pretty good. But you can. But I wouldn't worry about small detail, like right there you got a nice muzzle. I wouldn't worry about the small detail until after you finish the big rough outline of it. Alright, and that's how I retropoly. It takes a little bit of time, but honestly, once you get the control clicking down, you can fill out this whole thing really quick. I mean, even the dense areas, like these little ear floopy doodles, can be reduced down to just a 6 hexagon, 6-sided thing, and that's it. And then once it's done, you just fill in the points, put in a smooth modifier, and you're good to go. All right, let me know if you have any other questions or if this actually helped you, bud. If not, I'm sorry. All right, take it easy.